Anxiety. Anxiety is something that is out there. We hear a whole lot about and affects a whole lot of people. So today I want to kind of talk about whether it's anxiety that is a chemical imbalance or it's something that's situational. I think most of us, whether we struggle with it with ourselves or we have somebody we love, they're affected by it. And sometimes it's something that we can hide, and other times it can kind of become an obstacle in how we're able to get through our day and daily level of functioning. So I'm throwing out to you today 3 different strategies in ways to decrease your anxiety. And whether this is for you, your kids, whoever you dig, that you can kind of share this with, because we have a growing number of people that are struggling. It's like thumb war, baby. They're struggling with anxiety, and it is holding them back from having a full quality of life. So the first one that I'm going to throw at you today is decreased screen time before hitting the sack. Okay, before, whether it's your kids or whether it's you, 30 minutes to an hour, that might be stretching it for some people, but fighting for a quality level of sleep. So we have people that, like, whether it's our kids or us, we're on our phones. It's weaning ourselves off before we go to bed, because it's kind of like a hamster in a wheel. You watch that little sucker in there, and it's going. Where is it going? It's not going anywhere, but it's moving. And so when our brains are going all day long, and we're kind of being stimulated all day long, from text to Twitter to, somebody sending us, pictures of whatever, it's Facebook, it's whatever the heck it is. It's going and it's ongoing. And so our brains need to begin to be wired to chill, to get a quality level of sleep, where it's like we roll out of bed in the morning and I'm like, well, we slept 7.5, 8 hours of sleep and I'm still tired. I do believe we've seen like an explosion of anxiety over the past few years that totally correlates to excessive cell phone use. What I think kind of hits the nail on the head even more is right before we go to bed, if we're going, and whether that's, you're on YouTube, or whether that's you are, you're texting somebody, when our brains are continually and constantly being stimulated, it does something to our inability to decrease our ability to be in rest mode. So with that, number one that we're throwing out there is that we need to detach from our phones 30 minutes to an hour. And even if you need to lock that sucker away and go old school with an alarm clock, bring back the old school, and it will allow you for a better quality of sleep. Can't tell you how many people I chat with were like, I'm tired all the time. Well, what are you doing right before you go to bed? Oh, I'm texting somebody. Or, I'm checking out like whatever was on Twitter, whatever Twitter feed, or I'm checking, somebody's Snapchat streak. And I'll say, like, your brain can't handle, my brain, so much constant stimulation. It's not healthy. And so with that, boom, minimize that sucker. Take it away 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. That's number one. So number two we're rocking out with was having our kids knowing how, including ourselves, how to communicate. And that sounds like, well, what do you mean? Like people know how to talk. Well, the thing is, I got a reflection going on here. Not everybody does. We're kind of so dependent on our phones, especially the younger generation, that don't know how to communicate really outside of their cell phones. And so it's teaching them, if you're stressed out, it's not about just texting somebody about it. It's being able to identify your feelings. And this kind of sounds strange, but we have a lot of people, adults included, that don't know how to identify my feelings, and I don't know how to communicate to somebody. And whether that's to a counselor, it's your best friend, it's a sibling, it's learning how, instead of just keeping it inside. Nothing good happens when we keep it stuffed in, and this is where anxiety kicks up a whole bunch. We need to get it out, and it's teaching our kids how to can converse in a healthy way. One of the things that I've used for years, and I super busted on the first time I saw it, I was at a conference and I saw this game called Emotional Bingo. I'm like, that's weird. What the heck is that? When I tell you, having kids learn how to identify, this is how I'm feeling, and I can put a word to it, it does something. We have kids that don't know how to say, I am anxious, I am stressed, I am angry. And with that, they kind of just stuff things in. When we stuff things in, it comes out in some form. And we have an increased crazy train leveling of people struggling with anxiety. Communication is wicked important for our kids. And it's sitting down and dialoguing with them, or going out and getting a cup of hot chocolate and teaching them, yo, it's healthy to communicate. And this is what it looks like. If you're having a bad day, let's talk about it. And maybe if it's not me, it's finding somebody that they trust. I would say, whether that's, an older brother or sister, an aunt or uncle, whoever it is, that's trustworthy to bounce things off of. This is how I'm feeling. It's okay to talk about it. We have a lot of angry and anxious people out there. And when we stuff and we stuff and we stuff, we can't be healthy. And we can't expect our kids to be healthy. And we need to know that we're not we don't judge them because we talk about emotions. And there's people that are like, we're talking about emotions. All of us have them. If we didn't, we'd be robots. So we need to teach our kids it's okay. Yo, how you feeling today? And it's not just giving questions that require a yes or no response. It's not giving them that easy out. It's them learning how to communicate. I had a rough day. What kind of prompted you? What made you feel like you had a rough day? Was it something at school? Was it at work? How'd you deal with it? And letting them fill in the blanks and learning how to communicate. And then it just makes us healthier people, because I can identify not only how I feel, but I can talk about it. Boom. That's amazing. So we have learned how to communicate. We have decreasing screen time. The last one, I told you I only had 3 with you this week, is physical exertion. Okay? And we have way too many sedentary people out there. Whether you're 10 years old or you're 100 years old, our bodies need to move. We've got kind of spring rocking out now. Thank the Lord. We've got more sunlight. We have so many people who struggle with anxiety and depression, especially at certain times of year. Our bodies need exposure to the sun. We need to be moving around. And when we're just sitting on the couch and we're not doing anything, it absolutely triggers and can induce anxiety and depression. So it is getting our serotonin levels moving. Am I saying sign up for a triathlon? Yo, I'm not saying that. You're not climbing, Mount Everest in 6 months. But it's getting off of the couch, getting away from gaming for 11 and a half hours, and getting our heart rate up. It's walking around your neighborhood. It's one of the homework assignments I give to kids all the time is before you go to bed, it's doing 25 to 50 push-ups. When you wake up, 25 to 50 push-ups. It's getting a punching bag. And people look at me like I'm crazy trained. Everybody needs a punching bag. The exertion and the physical tangible contact with something like a punching bag releases our stress. It decreases anxiety. And I'm like, get a punching bag, dude. It does something, that physical exertion. And we need to be physical. We're physical human beings. And we have way too many people that are gaming too many hours, or I'm writing somebody for 10 and a half hours. What are you writing them? Get off your phone and go outside. Breathe in fresh air. Go lift some weights. It's just getting your body moving. Those 3 things, if you stick to them, if you rock them out, you make them a part of your lifestyle, you get your kids involved, it will alleviate a tremendous amount of anxiety. We got a lot of anxiety out there. Let's get creative. I threw 3 of them at you today. I could keep going, but I'm not going to keep going. And I encourage you to just try them out. Give them a wing and rock them out. I will tell you, if you're not already on Goodness Chick Facebook page, hop on it. If you're not on the Goodness Chick podcast, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's some awesomeness, all 20 minutes and less, faster than a Domino's pizza. And it's all powerful stuff we can apply to our lives. And the last one, within the week, my course is coming out that is preventative measures for keeping our kids from jumping into and getting rolled into addiction. Dude, it's all about a battle plan in life. Battle plan, empower ourselves and empower the people that we love. Peace, love, and goodness, my friends. Happy today.